Just quickly, then this is drawing back to you leaving tech for film.
Yeah.
What would be an advice to someone who is lost in the desire to live who they truly are? So, two questions.
Okay.
What's the advice for someone who is lost in the desire to live who they truly are? And secondly, is what would be your life advice for anyone out there who is stuck at a successful but unfulfilling career?
Ah, got it. The first question you were like to live who they truly are, like
Yeah.
LIV,
LIV, yeah.
LIVE rather. I think first has to come with the truth that if you have options, you will you will most likely pick the option that offers the least resistance and the least change. So you're already living life. You now want to go and live your best life. What this supposes is that you've recognized some elements about yourself that you want, that you know that if you explore these elements, the exploration will lead you to the type of life you want. That takes courage. Now, if you give yourself the option of that life or this life that I'm currently living, you will most often than not pick the option that offers the least amount of change. But change is tough. Change is tough. And there is almost nothing more defeating than asking yourself at a point, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right choice? So if I choose now that I want to change the entirety of my life, it's not just me that is being affected. My friends are being affected. My network is being affected. My family is being affected. All right. Depending on the degree of this particular change, if it is like some 360 turnaround type thing, an upheaval of my entire life, depending on that, the amount of courage will be commensurate to that. Now, when I wait, I'm like, more. Giddy gone. As long as I have the option of remaining as I am, as long as that is an option I've allowed myself out, and I can say this thing with so much confidence because I've been faced with different life choices where I had the option of picking a path that would have required me to go through tremendous change. And if I had 5 of such decisions to make, I've succeeded maybe just twice. Because it's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough and it is very defeating. Because what then happens is that you continue living this life and you lie to yourself that you're okay. You lie to yourself that you're fine. You lie to yourself that you made the right choice.
You find coping mechanisms.
Yeah, you find coping mechanisms and you begin to chip at yourself to make it work. Because this is the choice you've made. So the advice I will have for anybody is suck up and get courage. I can give examples, but I don't think this is the type of stuff where examples work.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's such a personal thing per person.
Yeah.
The need for courage in everybody's life is so personal to them, to the struggles, to the grabbing hold of this new way versus the way you have always been. It's so personal that even if I give you an example of my life or my success and my failings, if we don't have a personal relationship, it might not have the kind of impact on you. So that's why I won't give any example, but I would say to anybody who wants to live a different type of life, which they do believe they're called to, there are many resources you can find on 5 steps before you
until you enter it. You're not looking for which is step 1, which is step 2. You won't even see anything.
What I do think is this. I do think stories matter. It's important to find stories of people who are taking this step or similar step and use those ways to fuel yourself. Hearing one example might not be it. Especially if you don't have a personal relationship with such a person. Hearing multiple examples might help,
Okay.
right? Because what happens is that you're surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. You now have people who have gone through the same thing. And let me use this to segue into the next question. The idea of you are in a successful career by many metrics, but you're dying inside and you now want to choose to leave. It's daunting and it is near impossible if you're surrounded by only people who have careers. If you're surrounded by people ahead of you who have built their entire lives, have sent their children to the best schools, are respected members of their communities based on their careers.
Yeah.
And you want to go and tell them that, hello, hello. And so what you surrounded yourself by will not support the transition. So it's very important to curate stories of people who have taken this step or similar. And they are, it's not just to take the step or not going follow Uno road. Not the time, I don't know. It's not just because you left your job that job and leaving your job because you left your mind and not job. It's a lie. People are miserable in this life. That's not what I'm saying. Go look for the stories of people who have taken these steps and attained the type of success that fits into the image of what you want.
Right.
So you want to leave your job because you want to go this entrepreneurial path, and you genuinely believe that it's going to be rewarding. Like it's not just to go and be looking for entrepreneurs. Don't go and be listening to a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates and all this person. That's not what you're looking for. That's not what you need at the time because you don't have the kind of resources that they have. Go look for stories of the people who had everything going for them. And they still chose to go on this path. You want to know how they did it.
Yeah.
Right? You want to know the dark periods in their lives. You want to know how it feels now. If that feeling justifies the years of pain. If that feeling, if that position, if the wealth justifies the decision that was made. You want to surround yourself and fuel yourself with all of these things. Else, by yourself, without the support of winning stories, you will almost always gravitate towards the life that you are used to, the life that assures ease, the life that comfort. And as it was said, it's not mediocrity or what I be that is like the enemy of greatness. It's comfort, and that's what it is. And you have some truth that you might need to fight. The grass is greener. The grass is not greener on the other. No, there's something. Oh, how is this said that you see? I fought it so much that I can't even remember the statement. What they say?
The grass is not always greener on the other side.
I cannot sing that kind of bullshit.
Me neither.
Because what did me say? As a writer in this country, oh God, that the grass is not greener over there. Anywhere that is there. but in reality, that's not an almighty statement. There are some places where the people that water the grass so much, that grass is beautiful. Right? Your people have not watered this grass. You have been pouring water, but your grass is still brown. It's still brown. Your children's children that will see a patch of green. So sometimes you have to identify where the part is. There is a footballer, Osimhen, who was in a club Napoli, and then he started having issues in Napoli. Now it was celebrated while he was in Napoli, no doubt. It wasn't like all his stay in Napoli was turbulent, but towards the end it became turbulent. And once in a while you have sports and things of like racism and the likes, but towards the end there was a bit of turbulence and it wasn't treated as in the light of the caliber of player that he is. So he went to a club that many would consider to be smaller, Galatasaray in Turkey, and I saw a clip where Osimhen scored a goal, and the entire stadium started a chant. It wasn't like some random. It was like a practice chant, almost like a 1, 2, 3, go, and then everybody just started shouting, Osimhen, Osimhen, like the entire stadium, reminiscent of a Colosseum, and then a gladiator winning a battle, and everybody shouting, just chants, and I'm thinking, how does this man feel? Just walking in just this mountainous volume of just his name. And people were saying a lot of stuff, and there was just a maxim that just came out, which was go where you're celebrated. And I thought about it. It's not just where you're celebrating; it is that sometimes grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes it is greener on the other side. So it's not, that's kind of a truth that the person who wants to make a life altering decision has to tackle, because minus you with the courage, 90% of the people who know you and know you to be in this side, on this side of the divide, will want you to stay on this side of the divide.
Great.
And the type of things that can be used as not weapons, because it's not like they hate you, but used to remind you of the dangers would be the grass is not greener on the other side. So you have to do that thing of, all right, let me be cold. What if the grass indeed is not greener on the other side? Will I still be okay with my decision? It takes a lot of courage. So there is no do it like this or do it like that. I'm like, oh, good luck to you. Now you want change. Good luck to you. Now you want change. If not to be great, you would have been okay with your life. Like chasing greatness, that's your problem.
I can't. But the spirit always seeks full expression and expansion, you know?
You curtail it. Curtail it. Stop it. That causing me pain. I'm sorry.
Causing me pain. I know the feeling. Like, I do that to myself. Like, whenever I achieve something that I've wanted to, and then I'm just in this place where I'm just like, okay, maybe I should rest. My spirit just goes something else, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. It's because that spirit always seeking full expression and expansion, bro. I'm glad I've been able to rest, because I know myself. It's always like, okay, now I can rest, and then the minute you're like, next. We gotta go again, and so yeah, makes sense. So tell me about. I want to ask you about your film stories. But I'm not ready to ask you. But I'm just going to ask you quickly. When you left tech and you went into filmmaking, you have garnered so much success. Sorry, in such short time. What would you say has been paramount to that quick success? Because people who had been in that industry has taken almost even more than decades to be able to garner recognition, awards like you have, and you did it in like 2-3 years. Yes.
I mean, there's a part of the village. I was embraced by a lot of people, right? And I'm grateful to them all. I came into the industry, and there were so many people who were just willing to help me. It was so good. They're just willing to help me. So they put me in rooms. They helped me open doors. I remember meeting, and my friend helped me into Ajoche, which was a telenovela, and off Ajoche, two things happened off Ajoche. I took some step myself, which I'll talk about later, where someone had to give me a job. And the EP, that's the executive producer, met with me, spoke to about me to the producer, and producer like, I know that name, Donald Tombia. Hey, Donald Tombia. Now that person was an extra on Ajoche.
Right. Ooh.
And it was like, anytime he reads my script, he has watched the episode. That was great. And so he was willing to help. And someone got me into another TV show. Now, I was meant to do some sort of tests to get in. But immediately the head writer Donald Tombia, like, well, that's a real person. Like, yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Google, you're the only person the internet recognizes as Donald Tombia. There is really no other Donald Tombia on Google.
Okay. Is that like a thing? Like,
I literally went to the 10th page. And the only information I'm getting is you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm looking at it. I went to the first page. I went to the 3rd, the 5th, the 8th, and the 10th. It's just all you.
Is that exciting? I think
it should be. There are like over 7 billion people in the world, and the only person that Google recognizes as Donald Tombia is you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's like a naming thing. I have a cousin that is Donald Tombia.
Maybe he's not on the internet. He's not on the internet.
Okay. So yeah. All right. So she was like, "Oh, that's a real person."
That's a real person.
Yeah, because she had read my script and she was like, "Oh, the scripts are so good. This cannot be the writing of a new writer.
Oh, I see.
It has to be an old writer who is using a pen name."
Oh, I see. So like an alias.
Yes. So that way she then heard that, oh, there is a Donald Tombia. Oh, that's a real person. Okay. And so you had people of that sort who were always, willing to open the door for me. Right. And to be honest, there was no success I could have had without that village. They propping me up at the beginning time. And now one of the village chiefs, not in the industry, is in the education space. That's my boss in TDC. As in fun.
Yeah, got it.
So working with TDC and all that, I've learned a lot, or I get to learn all laws of creation and just how to be. Right, just how to just be, and that really that really helped me. So when I came in with clarity. I knew what I was looking for. I'd set a target. I explained that I can run a great distance. It doesn't matter. I can do 5 years of extreme hard work. I'm looking for something. And so I knew what I was looking for. I went for it. I applied principles. Right. For instance, for many years, the screen on my phone and the screen on my laptop have been the same, a collage of award-winning films. Which goes to the principle of you produce what you see.
Got it. Yeah.
And so when movies I'm not even aware that the producers are putting in for awards, when they start winning awards, I'm just like, yeah.
We've said it long before.
You get. Yeah. So I'm able to articulate my success in that form because it's repeatable, not just by me, but by anybody who follows the things. Right, it's repeatable. I remember one of someone read the article I said I read. Just one of my guys read it and he said, "There's nobody in this industry that gasses himself up like you gas yourself up." and we laughed over it, but I'm not thinking about it later, and I thought, well, was I gassing myself up?
Well, when I read it, I think because you're my friend, it didn't seem like you were gassing yourself up. It's so interesting to see that someone's other perspective is you were gassing yourself up. As far as I read it, my perception is it was interesting to see that you who have known for such a long time, I'm beginning to see like the core of how you are. Yeah. So to me, it wasn't gassing yourself up. To me, it was unearthing the core of who you are and where your entire storytelling comes from.
So that's not the thing where I was like, oh, am I gassing myself? Oh, this is really how I get to see myself. I mean, that's how I see myself. And so I am confident. Yeah. Which sometimes is interpreted as,
being arrogant.
Yes. But you see, you can't be truly confident without being arrogant, even if just a little bit. So I I have quite an arrogant streak about me, to
I
be
think
honest.
that the confidence is people perceive the same thing differently. I can never see you as arrogant because I perceive you as very confident, and I'm also very like secure in my confidence. I think it's why I would never see you as an arrogant person, but maybe someone who isn't necessarily at that point will see it as arrogance. You know you're arrogant.
Me, I'm telling you, arrogant. In some instances, I have done.
Okay, no, but that's intentional.
It is. I've learnt. I remember listening to Pharrell one time, and Pharrell talked about the fact that sometimes you get into a room and you have to be able to modulate your aura. You didn't say it in that way, but that was the import.
Yeah, that's good.
Sometimes and when you do the blueprint, one of the those questions, how do people see you? It's so that you're aware of this thing, so you know how you are.
Yeah.
Coming at.
Yeah.
And there was a period where I was aware of how I come off.
But you were not regulating it.
I wasn't regulating it. Now, when I'm not, so I can step into a room and my natural, my director here told me that I was too comfortable at one point. Like, because I can naturally, I don't know how to be.
Funny thing is, for me, I'm like, let him be as comfortable as he needs to be. Right? And she's like, no, you're too comfortable.
So like, it's I walk into a place, I'm good. It's very easy for me to exude confidence. However, if I need to be able to modulate, if the next person is going to be put off by that,
got it.
Especially if I need that person.
That's wise.
Right. And I saw it being played out multiple times, but I did multiple negotiations in Tiger Logic. So sometimes I'll go with my CEO, Dejo Claudius Akeyemi, and I'll be listening to this man. We've done the calculations together. We've put figures left, right, and center. We know the maths. We've done Excel mathematics. Now and we'll see that, okay, we have a huge buffer here. But the way this man is talking, as if he's a broke ass nigga. It's like, so I'm really saying, see the thing with the value that, sir, don't tell us about value. No, I have to tell you. Please just, I'm like, yo. But what he was doing, and I don't know if I think that he learned that how sometimes you go into negotiations, especially if the next person has more power than you in that regard. That's how he learned it. But what he was really doing, in fact, to explain it in a repeatable process, was just modulating his energy. Right. Just knowing when to be that person. Knowing, just modulating it. And so many times I've not been able. That's something that I still get to struggle with at times. Yeah. Sometimes I just come off as really, really confident in the type of confidence that can be misinterpreted. Right. Because if we have a dispute and I know that I am correct, I will wait for you to finish. I will not interrupt you.
Yeah, like don't waste my energy on arguing about.
I will now let you know why the foundation that you started 30 minutes ago was faulty, and I explained to you logically. And unfortunately, sometimes it has a way of making the next person feel put down and little and whatnot. And so I am very aware that I sometimes come off in that way and I do stuff of that nature. And so when I say I sometimes could be arrogant, that's what I mean. So it's not the definition of arrogance. You'll be raising shoulder. No, nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort.
That's actually something that is really good. Modulating your confidence.
Yeah. Not true. So some people teach humility in a doormat way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's not it. It is it's almost like the logic of you, the bridesmaid, chief bridesmaid, you go to come the shine past bride. Auntie, will you observe a little bit or calm down? Like relax. It's not a spoken rule.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Whereas this is hard
Common
day.
sense. Yeah.
Very, very common sensical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And a lot of the things that are kind of deep and just sound really, really, oh my god, zen. You can find them in just common mundane stuff. So the analogy of the bride and the bridesmaid, the same thing I'm just talking about here.
Better.
Sometimes you walk into someone's dream. This is the person's dream. This person has been waiting for this all their life, and then you bring the service. You walk into their dream. Let them have.
They say.
Do you understand? Let them have their moment in the sun. Yours will come. And I've been burnt by not doing stuff of that nature. I've been burnt by not realizing that in that moment, you're in someone else's dream.
That is brilliant.